They thought they were clever, betting against you. But little did they know, they were betting against the one who was chosen. You see, there's a pattern in this world, a cruel cycle of doubt. As a chosen one, you've felt it. People underestimate your strength, misjudge your silence, and dismiss your purpose. They look at your humble beginnings and assume they've figured out your fate. They make a bet, a wager against your potential, convinced that your quiet demeanor is a sign of weakness. But what they fail to understand is that your journey was never meant to be loud. It was meant to be unstoppable. This message is for you, the one they doubted, the one they bet against. They saw the spark in your eyes, the drive in your actions, but instead of acknowledging your light, they turned away, convinced that you wouldn't have what it takes to shine. They whispered among themselves, writing you off before you even got started. Their lack of faith wasn't a reflection of your abilities. It was a revelation of their own insecurities. They were afraid of what you could become, so they chose to ignore the signs of greatness that were right in front of them. What they failed to realize is that underestimating a chosen one is not a sign of your weakness, but a sign of their blindness. Their doubt was a projection of their own limitations, a refusal to see the boundless potential that resided in you. They were so wrapped up in their own beliefs about success and failure that they couldn't comprehend your quiet power. The quiet ones, the underestimated ones, are often the most dangerous because they are the ones silently building an empire while the world watches, unseeing. They didn't just underestimate your abilities, they misread your intentions. You see, they thought your silence meant you had nothing to say. They assumed that your patience was a lack of drive or ambition. Little did they know that your quiet resolve was the preparation for something monumental. You weren't sitting idle. You were waiting, plotting, and nurturing the seeds of your inevitable rise. Society tends to bet against those who do not fit into its narrow expectations. If you don't wear your success on your sleeve, they write you off. If you don't follow the conventional path, they think you're lost. But you weren't lost. You were simply taking the road less traveled, the one that leads to the kind of greatness they can't understand. Their traditional mindset blinded them to the fact that true power often resides in the unconventional. They assumed that because you didn't boast about your journey, you had nothing to boast about. They confused humility with weakness, never considering that your choice to remain grounded was actually a sign of your deep-rooted strength. You knew that your journey wasn't about proving them wrong. It was about proving yourself right. And that's the difference between you and them. They were focused on the outcome, but you were focused on the process. Their bet against you wasn't a one-time decision. It was a pattern. Each time you chose to rise above the noise, they doubled down on their disbelief. It became a game to them, a game they thought they could win because they saw you as an underdog. But in this game, they overlooked one critical rule. Never bet against someone who has nothing to lose but everything to gain. They underestimated not just your strength, but the very essence of what it means to be chosen. Being chosen isn't about destiny handing you success on a silver platter. It's about your relentless pursuit of purpose, no matter the obstacles. Their skepticism was never really about you. It was about their fear that they could never be what you are destined to become. And in that fear, they made their greatest mistake. The moment they never saw coming. You began to rise, your energy shifted, your actions grew bolder, and suddenly, the world couldn't ignore you anymore. The silence they once mistook for weakness transformed into a powerful force that demanded attention. You weren't just making progress. You were breaking barriers, dismantling the limits they had placed around you. And with each stride you took forward, their certainty crumbled. You see, it wasn't just the magnitude of your rise that shook them. It was the speed. You went from being the underdog they mocked to the contender they feared, seemingly overnight. The very people who were so confident in your failure found themselves second-guessing every assumption they ever made about you. Their doubts turned into regret, and their regret into panic, as they realized they had backed the wrong side. There was a moment when they knew they had made a colossal error in judgment. It wasn't when you achieved a single victory. It was when your victories became consistent. It was in the unstoppable momentum that you built, that rhythm of success that they could no longer dismiss as luck or chance. With every step you took, their disbelief morphed into a fear they couldn't contain. They watched as everything they believed about you unraveled before their eyes. The world they constructed around your supposed inadequacies came crashing down. They saw the truth that your strength was never in shouting your victories from the rooftops, but in letting your actions speak louder than any words ever could. You were never in this to prove them wrong. You were in this to prove yourself right. Their regret was more than just disappointment. It was a deep-seated shame that they could not escape. They knew that the very person they counted out was now the one they could not compete with. You transformed from the overlooked outsider to the unstoppable force of nature that they never anticipated. And they were left with nothing but the haunting realization of their own misjudgments. It wasn't just their judgment of you that shattered, it was their belief in their own insight. They prided themselves on their ability to predict outcomes, to gauge success or failure. But you were the exception that broke their rules. You were the anomaly that they couldn't categorize, the unpredictable variable that defied their logic. Their panic wasn't just about losing to you, it was about realizing that they never truly understood what it meant to be chosen. As you rose, they had no choice but to face the truth. They had bet against something far greater than they could ever comprehend. Your rise wasn't a miracle, it was inevitable. It was the natural consequence of a purpose-driven life that they were too blind to see. And now, they had to watch as their world crumbled, while yours soared to heights they never imagined. We interrupt this programming to flip the script. The odds were stacked against you. They bet everything on your failure, and now they're left with empty hands and shattered pride. They thought they had you figured out, but you were the wild card, the one they never saw coming. And now, we're calling on you to bet everything on yourself. Why? Because as a chosen one, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. This is your moment to inherit the universe. Inside the obsidian inner order, powered by Astral Atom, we arm you with the tools to turn doubt into fuel, failure into opportunity, and charisma into your most potent weapon. The Modern Manifestation Mechanics Grimoire, available only to members, breaks down how to harness your unique energy and align it with cosmic forces to attract the life you deserve. This isn't just another self-help guide. It's a power move, tailored for chosen ones who are ready to seize their destiny. With over 250 members already leveling up, sharing their wins, and unlocking exclusive, uncensored content too raw for YouTube, this is the place where you bet big on your own transformation. The doors to the Star Chamber Discord server are still open, but not for long. There are only a few slots left for those ready to rise to the challenge. The link's in the description. It's time to stop waiting for permission and claim the universe that's been waiting for you. Opportunities here and there, doors that once opened easily for them now seemed permanently shut. Their plans, which once felt solid and secure, began to unravel at the seams. They couldn't see it then, but their downfall was directly linked to their underestimation of you. Every moment they spent doubting you was a moment that set them on a path to losing their own grip on success. They thought they were making a calculated bet against you, but in reality, they were setting themselves up for failure. Their disbelief in you wasn't just a sign of their ignorance, it was a sign of their own insecurities. They were so consumed by the idea of your failure that they didn't even notice how their own lives began to spiral out of control. Their focus on trying to diminish your value blinded them to the opportunities slipping through their own fingers. Karma has a way of catching up with those who bet against a chosen one. Every unkind word they spoke, every time they doubted your capabilities, was like planting a seed of their own misfortune. And now, those seeds have grown into a forest of regret and missed chances. The universe has a way of balancing the scales, ensuring that those who bet against greatness end up paying the price in the most unexpected ways. Their losses weren't just material or financial. They were deeper, more personal. They lost relationships, trust, and respect from those who once looked up to them. The people around them began to see through their facade, recognizing their jealousy and insecurity for what it truly was. Betting against you didn't just cost them opportunities, it cost them their credibility and the connections they once took for granted. As they watched your success unfold, the reality of their mistake became undeniable. Each of your achievements was a blow to their ego, a reminder of how completely they misjudged your capabilities. They were left with the harsh truth that their biggest failure wasn't in doubting you. It was in believing that they could ever stop you. They had built their confidence on the shaky foundation of your supposed inadequacy, and now that foundation was crumbling. Their regret wasn't just about your rise. It was about the envy that consumed them as they witnessed your progress. They couldn't stand to see you succeed where they had failed, to see you thrive despite all the odds they had stacked against you. It ate away at them to know that the person they once looked down upon was now the one standing above them. Their envy wasn't just a passing feeling, it became the shadow that darkened every aspect of their lives. The ultimate consequence for them was realizing that they weren't just wrong, they were wrong about you. You were never the underdog in the story. You were the champion all along. And now, they have to live with the reality that they bet against a force they could never hope to understand or control. Their losses were not just setbacks, they were the inevitable result of a universe that doesn't tolerate doubt against the chosen. What they failed to understand was that their bet against you wasn't just a challenge to your abilities. It was a direct affront to the higher forces that guide your path. They underestimated the spiritual armor that surrounded you, the divine hand that steered you forward even in the darkest of times. In their arrogance, they thought they were up against a mere mortal, when in reality, they were up against a destiny ordained by forces far greater than themselves. The more they tried to undermine you, the more they were working against a plan that was beyond their control. Their efforts to bring you down were futile from the start because you were never walking this path alone. You had divine protection, a shield of grace that turned every negative word, every doubt, and every attempt to derail you into fuel for your journey. There's a spiritual law at play here. When you bet against a chosen one, you're not just risking defeat, you're inviting your own downfall. The universe doesn't take kindly to those who try to stand in the way of someone fulfilling their purpose. Every obstacle they placed in your path became a stepping stone for your growth, while every trap they set for you ensnared them instead. You see, their downfall was inevitable, not because of a curse or some twist of fate, but because they went against a force that they could never match. Betting against a chosen one is like trying to fight the ocean's tide. You can resist all you want, but in the end, the tide always wins. They believed they were battling you, but they were really fighting against destiny itself. God's protection over your journey ensured that every time they thought they had defeated you, they were merely redirecting you to something greater. Their doubts didn't weaken you, they strengthened you. Their disbelief didn't slow you down, it propelled you forward. The universe had already decided that you were meant to rise, and no amount of human skepticism could alter that plan. Their biggest mistake wasn't just doubting your abilities, it was doubting the forces that had chosen you. In their eyes, they were simply betting against another person. But in reality, they were questioning the divine blueprint that had already sealed your victory. And so their downfall wasn't just a consequence, it was divine justice. The universe setting things right in a way that only it can. Now they must live with the reality that they didn't just lose to you, they lost to the cosmos itself. Their attempts to derail your destiny have only derailed their own. While you rise higher and higher, they are left grappling with the truth that they went to war with a power they never stood a chance against. And that is the ultimate justice, watching you soar while they fall, knowing they had the audacity to bet against a chosen one. As they watch you thrive, they begin to grasp the true depth of their error. It's not just that they lost a bet, they lost the chance to witness and be part of a journey that defied all odds. What they really gambled away was their opportunity to align with greatness, to be a witness to your rise instead of a detractor. Their biggest loss wasn't a tangible one, It was the priceless privilege of seeing your potential realized. They begin to realize that their bet against you didn't just cost them respect from others. It cost them respect from themselves. Each time they see you succeed, they are reminded of their own limitations, their inability to recognize the potential that was so evident. What they really lost was their own sense of credibility, the belief they once had in their judgment and insight. Their reputation, once built on the confidence of always backing the right horse, is now in tatters. The whispers that once surrounded you now surround them. People who once saw them as wise and insightful now see them as short-sighted and petty. The respect they had accumulated over years has been eroded in the wake of their monumental miscalculation. The envy they feel now is unlike any emotion they've ever experienced. It's not just a fleeting jealousy. It's a consuming fire that burns every time they see you rise, every time they hear your name spoken with admiration. It's a constant reminder of their failure to see what was always there, the unbreakable spirit of a chosen one. Their envy isn't directed at your success itself, but at their own blindness to your potential. What they really lost was their peace of mind. They are haunted by the what-ifs, the moments they could have supported you, aligned with you, stood by your side instead of against you. Every win you secure is a reminder of the victory they could have shared. Instead, they are left to watch from the sidelines, consumed by their own regrets. The ripple effect of their decision to bet against you has spread far beyond the confines of their own lives. It's a wave of consequence that has reached into their personal relationships, their professional circles, even their own sense of self-worth. People who once trusted their judgment now question their decisions, all because they doubted the one who was destined to rise. In the end, the true magnitude of what they lost goes far beyond any material gain or loss. They lost the chance to grow alongside someone destined for greatness. They lost their own potential in their pursuit of denying yours. And that is the tragedy they must live with. The knowledge that their downfall wasn't because you were lucky or they were unlucky. It was because they made the mistake of underestimating a chosen one. Now, as you move forward, your journey isn't just about proving them wrong. It's about embracing your true self, your purpose, with more conviction than ever. You see, this path you're on wasn't meant to be walked in the shadow of their doubts. It was meant to be illuminated by the light of your own determination. You're not just winning, you're thriving in a way that no one could have anticipated, and that triumph is rooted in your unwavering belief in yourself. This journey has taught you something invaluable, that your worth and potential were never defined by their opinions or their judgments. They tried to weigh you down with their disbelief, hoping that their doubt would cast shadows over your path. But instead, their negativity became the wind beneath your wings, pushing you to rise even higher. Every criticism, every dismissal, every ounce of their skepticism was fuel for your fire, igniting your passion to succeed against all odds. Rising above the doubt was never about silencing their voices. It was about amplifying your own. You discovered that true strength comes not from seeking validation from others, but from standing firm in your own truth. While they were busy underestimating you, you were laying the foundation for your empire. Your focus, your dedication, and your resilience became your armor, shielding you from the daggers of doubt they threw your way. This triumph of yours isn't just a win for you. It's a testament to all who have ever been doubted, to all who have been told they couldn't make it because they were different. You are living proof that the strongest warriors are forged in the fires of adversity, that the most beautiful blooms rise from the soil others overlook. Your journey is an inspiration, a beacon of hope for those who continue to walk the unbeaten path. You learned that their doubts could never dictate your destiny, because your journey was never meant to fit into their narrow expectations. The path of a chosen one is paved with challenges, yes, but also with divine guidance, with moments that defy logic and understanding. You've come to realize that your purpose is too great, too powerful to be swayed by their limited perspective. Every step you take now is a reminder that your true power lies not in proving them wrong, but in proving yourself right. You are here to fulfill a destiny that was written in the stars long before their doubts ever existed. Your triumph is a celebration of that divine purpose, a purpose that no amount of skepticism could ever derail. If there's one undeniable truth that this journey has revealed, it's that betting against the chosen ones is a mistake rooted in ignorance and fear. The world often judges people by appearances, by what they can see and understand in that moment. But the true power of a chosen one lies not in the visible, but in the unseen forces that guide their steps, the invisible strength that carries them forward when everyone else expects them to fall. Belief in oneself is the cornerstone of any journey worth taking. It's the compass that keeps you on course, even when the road ahead is filled with obstacles. When others doubt you, when they bet against you, it's not a reflection of your abilities, but a sign of their own insecurities. They doubt you because they can't imagine rising beyond their own limitations. But a chosen one doesn't let the fears of others become the ceiling of their potential. Staying true to yourself is the most powerful weapon you have in a world that constantly tries to make you conform. The chosen ones are those who dare to embrace their uniqueness, who turn their differences into strengths. They are the ones who understand that success isn't about blending in. It's about standing out. It's about walking a path that only they can walk, guided by a vision that only they can see. The doubters will always be there, whispering their fears, projecting their insecurities. But what they fail to realize is that every time they doubt a chosen one, they are merely adding fuel to a fire that cannot be extinguished. They may try to dim your light, but they cannot touch the flame that burns within you. That flame is your purpose, your calling, and it grows brighter with every challenge you overcome. There's a powerful lesson to be learned here. Underestimating those who seem different, those who walk a path unseen by most, is the biggest mistake anyone can make. What they don't understand is that the chosen ones are backed by forces beyond their comprehension, by a universe that aligns in their favor, by a destiny that cannot be denied. When they doubt you, they are not just doubting a person. They are challenging a purpose that was never theirs to question. Doubting a chosen one goes beyond just misjudging an individual's potential. It's a challenge to the very essence of what it means to have faith. Faith in the unseen. Faith in the possibilities that lie beyond the scope of the ordinary. It's a refusal to acknowledge that sometimes the greatest victories come from the most unexpected places. And when they finally see you rise, it's not just their disbelief that crumbles. It's their entire worldview. So let them see. Let them witness what happens when they bet against a chosen one. Let them experience the consequences of their doubt, not as punishment, but as a lesson that will echo through their lives as a reminder of what they failed to see. Because the truth is, when you are chosen, no amount of doubt, no skepticism, no bet against you can ever alter the course of your destiny. No matter how many people bet against you, no matter how often they count you out, your journey is protected. You are chosen, and nothing they do can alter the course of your destiny. Their doubt was never your defeat. It was their lesson. Share your story with us. Tell us how you've risen above the doubts cast upon you, and if this message resonates, let others know they're not alone in their journey. Remember, no matter who bets against you, your victory is already written in the stars. The path ahead is yours to conquer, and no amount of doubt can change the outcome that was meant for you.